What's up, guys? Happy Monday. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Ready for a great week. As we go into this week, one thing that I want to talk about, which kind of just ties business together all around, is why it's important to build a business or scale a business to where you can exit it. And there's a couple different questions, there's a couple different reasons, and you might be one of those people that doesn't necessarily want to sell their business or has no plans of selling their business in the future, and that's fine, but there's still a purpose for it. So hear me out. So first off, if you do want to sell it, it's very, very important to make sure that you have everything in place to where you can exit it, because at the end of the day, you want to make sure that at some point, if you own a business, you're going to need to quote unquote retire. So you have to have all your I's dotted and T's crossed, so to speak, to make sure that you can retire, to make sure that you can pass it down to somebody, whatever the route is that you decide to go. You still want to make sure that you have all your ducks in a row. The reason those things are important, and this really applies especially to the people that don't want to sell or don't want to sell right now, but it's extremely important to have a number of things in place when you're building a business. So one of the things is that, and I talk about this a lot, especially with my clients, but one of the things is that you want to make sure that you're building systems. So in your business, you want to make sure that it's not just a hustle and that the business can still function without you, because at the end of the day, if it can't function without you, then you don't have a business, you just have a job. And you're trying to create a business. One of the other things is you want to focus on the scalability of it and the profitability of it. So if I'm looking to invest in your company, or if you want to keep your company, either way, it makes for a better company if you can scale it and if it's more profitable. And so scaling doesn't always mean, and I had this conversation with a client, I think yesterday, scaling doesn't always mean increasing your revenue. If I can increase my profit margin, if I have 15% profit margin and I'm doing 10 million a year in whatever company, I'm just throwing out numbers, but I can increase that profit margin to 30% and stay at the same 10 million. Well, I essentially just doubled the size of my company, but my revenue is the same, which means my workload is pretty much still the same. I've just increased my profit margin. So being able to look at your P&Ls and pinpoint things like that in areas of growth is really, really beneficial. Another thing is you want to make sure that you have very good structure. This goes into your systems and processes, but make sure that you have clean records and good structure, because when it comes down to EEOC, Department of Labor, if you're dealing with insurance, you got the Department of Insurance. If you got OSHA involved, I know a lot of guys that follow me are blue collar. So you want to make sure that you have clean records for all these things, and that the structure is on point to where you don't run into any issues with the Department of Labor or any sort of fucking group that's a set of initials. You never want to fuck with them. And then, last but not least, you want to create a real brand, not just, like I said, a job. And so even for those of y'all that aren't planning to exit or don't necessarily want to exit your company, if I focus on all these things like I am planning to exit, it's going to increase my business dramatically, because I'm focused on structure, I'm focused on processes, I'm focused on systems, I'm focused on making sure that my system, my programs, my systems are set up correctly and in compliance with government regulations, whatever they may be, depending upon what business you're in. So even if you don't plan to exit and sell it, it is still very important to do that, because at the end of the day, it's going to make you your business healthier, more organized, more valuable, more attractive to prospective and potential buyers down the road, if that is something that crosses your mind down the road. Like I said, that's not for everybody, but at the end of the day, I always encourage everybody to make sure that they structure it that way, because it will keep you on the right track to where you're organized. You know, if you have any bottlenecks, you know what you need to fix, you know where every little thing and how every single system is done because your records are on point, your processes are on point, your systems are on point, and it's almost like an assembly line. So that's why it's important, and that's why I focus so much on systems and processes, whether you're looking to exit a company or not. And eventually, if you have your own company, eventually you do want to exit it, no matter how much you love that company. Eventually, you need to sit down and enjoy time with your family and other things, and get some peace of mind and have a little bit of less stress. So you have to have other people that can kind of take over, take the wheel, so to speak, and you not do everything, which you shouldn't be doing anyways. But if I can help anybody with those things, let me know. But as we go into this week, that's something that I really want you guys to think about, because there's a lot of people that come to me for coaching because they want to scale their business, whatever it may be. They want to scale their business to eventually exit it, to sell it. But there's a lot of people that I coach that don't necessarily want to sell their business. They want to keep it, and they want to keep growing it and build it and make more money and generate more wealth for other people and hire new people and change more lives and impact more people. And all that is fucking awesome. But at the end of the day, the process to get to both places is the same. So if I can help you with either one of those, make sure to reach out to me. Let me know. I love all you guys. I hope you guys have a great fucking week. If you're interested in fitness coaching or business coaching, make sure to fill out the form below, and I'll get back to you. As always, I hope you guys have a great fucking week, and I will see you next time. Talk to you soon.